With the suspect finally in custody after a 7-week manhunt, the search for justice is only beginning.
Detectives arrested 28-year-old Bryan Christopher Kohberger.
Early Friday, authorities took Kohberger into custody at his parents' home in northeastern Pennsylvania on suspicion of the murder of 4 college students in Moscow, Idaho. After graduating from DeSales University, Kohberger enrolled in a doctoral program in criminal justice at Washington State University, just miles from the University of Idaho campus and the scene of the murders. He's being held in Pennsylvania, where his public defender says Kohberger was shocked by the arrest.
He believes he will be exonerated.
The lawyer reading a statement from Kohberger's family.
We have fully cooperated with law enforcement agencies in an attempt to seek the truth and promote his presumption of innocence.
He confirmed that Kohberger's father flew to Washington State to meet his son and made the cross-country road trip back to Pennsylvania with him, the father telling him he didn't notice anything different about his son.
Everything was ordinary, and he saw nothing unusual about it.
Police seized a white Hyundai Elantra at Kohberger's parents' home in Pennsylvania, the same model they say was seen near the crime scene around the time of the attack. Austin Morrison says Kohberger was a teaching assistant in a criminal justice class he took at Washington State.
Just rather quiet, very off to the side, standoffish. He sat in the class, didn't do a whole lot.
2 law enforcement sources familiar with the investigation told NBC News that detectives used genetic genealogy to track down the suspect.
It broadens the search. Instead of just looking for that one person in the database or maybe their very close relatives, we now are looking for second, third, fourth cousins and beyond. The team that did this work had a very difficult task.
He's doing okay. He's shocked a little bit. Obviously, he's calm right now. We don't really know much about the case. He is very intelligent. In my hour conversation with him, that comes off. I can tell that. And he understands where we are right now. It was me talking to him for approximately an hour last night, discussing with him where he was at the time. Knowing, of course, that it's likely that they have location data from his cell phone already putting him on the border of Washington and Idaho. So it was an easy decision, obviously, since it doesn't contest that he is Bryan Kohberger. They're also very shocked, out of character for Bryan. They're really in awe over everything that's going on. As you're aware, the FBI, local police, Idaho state troopers were at their house at approximately 3 a.m. yesterday, knocking on the door and announcing themselves to enter, out of real shock and awe to them.
Tell us more about why you want tips, why you're still keeping that line open and you're asking for information.
Because now we're at a new point. Now we know who we're looking at. We want information on that individual. We want that updated information so that we can start building that picture now. Every tip matters. Everything, every piece matters. So we just want, our community and the nation to continue to send us that.
A call to the public. Authorities in need of any information regarding Bryan Kohberger.
We still ask is for people to continually send us things in the tip line.
His DNA and white Hyundai Elantra linking him to the case, according to 2 law enforcement sources briefed on the investigation. But more evidence is needed for a successful prosecution.
We are still looking for more information. We're still trying to build that picture, just like we have stated all along. We're putting all the pieces together, and that will help.
Bryan Kohberger.
The 28-year-old graduated in May from DeSales University in Pennsylvania with a master's in criminal justice.
It's someone who has been delving into the innermost sanctums of criminal thinking, who is now accused of a particularly horrific crime.
In Reddit post, removed after the arrest was made public, a student investigator named Bryan Kohberger sought participation in a research project associated with the DeSales University study. It was to understand how emotions and psychological traits influence decision-making when committing a crime. The post said the study sought to understand the story behind your most recent criminal offense with an emphasis on your thoughts and feelings throughout your experience. Most recently, he was a graduate student at Washington State University's Department of Criminal Justice and Criminology.
I am not at all surprised, although really disheartened, to find out that this suspect is a PhD student in criminology at Washington State University. From the outset, we had to understand that this was an organized killer.
He was studying and living in Pullman, Washington, just a few miles from the crime scene. Police searched his university residence Friday morning.
This is a smart guy who's obsessed with crime.
He was arrested early Friday morning, giving law enforcement a clear focus for their investigation.
This is not an ending, but rather a new beginning.
We are still looking for all pieces of evidence, but we are still looking for the weapon. And I will say that we have found an Alatra. What I can tell you is we have an individual in custody who committed these horrible crimes, and I do believe our community is safe, but we still need to be vigilant. I do want to thank our media partners for the help. You kept this in the news, you helped us with tips, you kept things going, and we truly appreciate that. And you are the product of those 19,000 tips that we received, which is impressive.
This investigation is far from over. In fact, I appreciate what he shared, that this is not an ending, but rather a new beginning. The difference now is, as he shared, that we are dictated what information we can share by the court process and by laws in our state of Idaho. And so we will share, as he shared. Mr. Thompson is absolutely committed to share everything he can share through the court process.